Hello, beautiful people. My name is Tigress, and I'm here to talk to you today about how to start reselling online. Most of these tips are applicable to whatever sort of app you are going to be selling on or whatever website you're going to be selling on. These are just tips that I feel like weren't covered in a lot of videos that I watched when I first started. Before I started, I watched tons of how to get started videos, and these are things that I think are helpful that not everyone talks about. First and foremost, I think one of the things that's most important before you start selling and before you list anything, you need to know where you are taking pictures, okay? This might sound harsh, but you cannot sell clothes online without a good place to take pictures. This business is purely photo driven, okay? You can have the cutest, most wanted garment of clothing or shoes or hats or purses or whatever, but no one's gonna know what it is and no one's gonna buy it if you don't have a good picture of it, right? That's the only way we are, like, as consumers, it's the only way we can look at something and see if it's something that we want to buy. We're not in real life. We can't pick it up and twirl it around and see every angle of it and hold it up to our body. We need good photos. And of course, natural lighting is the best. So finding a window and having that be coming in is the best form of lighting. So if you can find a good light in your house, or like a good window in your house, that is going to be best. And then of course, against white is also the best, or plain. So if you have a white garment, you're not going to want to put it against a white wall because you're not going to be able to see it. So sometimes you have to think about those sort of things too, but a plain background is going to be your best bet because you don't want anything distracting. Like my cat meowing at the door is distracting me. You need good lighting, you need a clean background, and then people argue all the time, like, what's the best way to show the clothing, whether that is hanging on a hanger or like a flat lay or on a mannequin or being worn by a person. In my experience, I've seen people sell from all of them. Like, just don't worry yourself too much. If all you have is a floor, use the floor. If all you have is a hanger and a door, use the hanger and the door. If all you have is a mannequin, if all you have is your body, don't worry about any of those things right now. Like, because in the end, that's going to be what works best for you. But really, it's about like how much can the people see the garment, and it needs to be lit and it needs to be clear. Okay, so first and foremost, you got to take good pictures. You got to know where you're going to take the pictures, and of course you got to have a camera, right? It's a given. No matter what you are selling, I really highly advise not to post everything in one day. So the question is like, what does the app reward, right? Does the app reward you posting like a lot of things at once, or does the app reward consistent posting? And it is consistent posting. So if you only have like 6 things that you want to post because you're doing like a closet clean out, post 1 a day. Give yourself, or 1 even every other day, or 2 every other day, but you want to do less more frequently. So what I do, because I have over 200 garments that I'm selling, is I will do 3 things a day. And I worked my way up to this, though. You know, I have been doing this a year, so I've worked my way up to 3 a day. But definitely start out by doing less but more frequently, okay? So, and I hope that is encouraging in some ways. Like, you don't have to do it all at once. You can take all your pictures in one day or whatever, you know, but definitely more than once a week, I would say. I would say every other day at the most, and every day for sure. Okay, so there's kind of like this little bit of discourse in the reselling community about measurements, okay, and whether you should be taking measurements. Some people are like, I hate taking measurements. I don't understand why people even ask for them. I have too many clothes to be taken on these measurements. Me personally, I think measurements are a must. I think measurements are a must. I think like measuring tape like this is so affordable. You literally could get it for $1 at the dollar store, okay? I know a lot of people start Depops because they're cheap, and I will make a video and let you guys know how I started my Depop with literally $0. Like, you don't need much to start with, but I think measuring is a must. Again, like, for me, I always try to think about from the consumer point of view, because we're selling, like, that is like who we should care about, I think. But I think one of the ways we tell if something fits us is by the picture. We can look at the quality, we can look at the style, but we're not gonna know if it's gonna fit our proportions and our body without measurements. And measurements are more accurate than sizes. Take it from me, I literally have measured over 400 garments this year, and I will tell you that an extra small shirt is not always 14 inches pit to pit. Sometimes it's 16, sometimes it is 17, okay? Like, extra small, small, medium, those things don't mean anything. Like, you need measurements. I think it is an absolute, and you don't have to do much. It's not a ton. If it's a shirt, I literally do pit to pit, I do length. That's it. You know, if it's pants, it's a little bit more. I do waist, length of the pant, in the inseam. Okay, and these are things you can look up. These are things you can find online. If you want, maybe I can make a video that's just about like what measurements to take on each garment. I do want to continue making more videos. So, but I think if you're selling clothes, measurements are a must. Highly recommend it. Also, like, it is good to do as many pictures of the garment as you can. If you're just doing one picture, you're not like, why are you taking pictures? You know, again, like, that's our one way as consumers to know what the garment looks like. So sometimes it can help you have more photos with the measuring tape. Like, what I did at first, I did flat lays like on my bed because I had a window coming into my bed. So I would lay them, like, I would lay a sheet down first, and then I would put the clothes down, and then I would take pictures of the front, the back, a close-up of the pattern if there was a pattern on it, and then I would flip it over and I would do pictures of the measuring tape laying next to it, and then people could see the measurements for themselves. That gave me more pictures. It kind of does make it show up more in the algorithm too, the more photos you have. Another thing that I think is really important to know is, like, be patient. Be patient with yourself, okay? Like, you're not gonna make an account and then suddenly get a sale. Some people do, okay? There are anomalies, don't get me wrong, but for the most part, it took me a month until I made my first sale. And that was someone like on Facebook that I knew, okay, who just happened to see stuff that I was posting. And then after that, it took another month until I made another sale. So it can take time. You really got to be gentle with yourself and patient with yourself. Like, it might take a while for someone to find you. It might take a while for the person who's looking for that specific thing to find that specific thing that you're selling, okay? And you just like got in line in this algorithm, okay? There's a long queue and you just joined it. So give yourself time to like pick up momentum and have people start seeing you. And yes, if you're new and you don't have any reviews and you don't have any likes, that can also take time for people to like kind of trust your shop and trust that you are a real person. But one of those things that you can do before you start getting reviews is get followers, right? And this goes for most things: Depop, Poshmark, Vinted, eBay, Curtsy, whatever. This goes for most of them. There are followers, and the more people you follow, the more followers that you're going to have. So, you know, spend 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 10 minutes like every now and then, just following as many people as you can. Follow 100 people, follow 200 people, follow the people who follow them. People leave reviews, follow the people who have left reviews because they're consumers, they're buyers. You know, just spend time following. A fraction of those people you follow will follow you. And then that, again, just if you are a new customer coming to your site, you're going to trust that person more because it looks like they're online, they're engaging with others, and it's just a lot less sus than someone who has 0 followers, 0 people they're following, and 0 reviews. You know what I mean? So start now before you even post anything. Gather and save all packing material that you have within your vicinity. Start now. Save the poly mailers, the envelopes, bubble wrap, boxes, literally anything and everything that you can get your hands on. Start saving it now because shipping materials can get really expensive, even though customers pay for shipping. And you want to invest as least as possible into packing materials so that you're able to get as much money out of the transaction as possible, you know? So start saving those materials now. Have a little corner where they're building up. Every time you get something in the mail, save it. Save the packaging, okay? Just, you know, start with free and cheap as much as you can. Another thing is ignore any emails that you get, okay? When you first make an account on Depop or Poshmark, which really are the two that this happens the most on, but I think it happens with eBay too. Sometimes when you first make an account, you'll get these emails and they are spam. And if they are people who are like, I want to buy your item, or I found your page and I like this, and you know, I want to buy this, like, don't. Don't do that. Everything everything to do with the transaction will be done in the app. There have been many times I have sold things and I did not talk to that person once, okay? You don't need to be involved at all. All you do is post it and the app takes care of the rest, okay? Now there is, like, you know, some offer sending and some accepting and those sort of things, like, but that again is all within the app. Unless you're getting a email from Depop just sending you a receipt saying you sold this item, that's the only sort of emails you should be getting regarding your shop, or they email you when you sold something. So if anyone messages you outside of the app asking to buy something, ignore. It is spam, okay? It is not time to celebrate. You did not find a customer. I'm sorry. Do not respond. So when it comes to posting your items, definitely, like, they have the AI generated suggested description. Use it. Just use that. It's fine for the most part. Like, it works. It gets the job done. It kind of gives you an idea of what's expected of a description. If you don't want to use that, if you really want to come up with your own, just make sure the first 6 words are keywords, right? Like, if I was posting this sweater, I would put like beige crew neck cozy sweater, right? Something like that. Or maybe I would put beige Free Palestine sweater, right? So I'm just going to use the first 6 words to just be keywords, not a full sentence. And then after those 6 words, you can go in and get more creative with, like, describing your item. And this is, again, where there's some discourse and, like, conspiracies, I guess you could say, or maybe it's not conspiracy, theories, maybe we'll just call them theories. Like, some users say that the shorter your description is, like, it'll get bumped in the algorithm. Some people say the longer it is, the more it'll get bumped in the algorithm. Girl, I have played with both and I have not seen a big difference in either. I personally enjoy giving styling suggestions and playing around with aesthetic suggestions, right? I like to say, like, again, if I'm posting this sweater, I like to say pair with a mini skirt and Doc Martens for a more like indie punk rock outfit, or pair with knee-high boots and bootleg pants for a more like casual preppy outfit, right? So I like to play with styling suggestions and aesthetics. It is not a requirement, but you know, you are allowed to have fun. So if you want to have fun, if you feel inspired to play around, play around. Just make sure those first 6 keywords are keywords. Hashtags themselves can be garment focused and they can be aesthetic focused, right? I can do hashtag crew neck, hashtag beige sweater. I can also do hashtag statement pieces, hashtag like preppy fall, right? But also you can just use the AI generated suggested descriptions. Okay, that was a lot, so I'm gonna leave it there. But last but not least, tell people what you're doing. Tell people around you, whether it's in person, whether it's online, whether it's you know, at the bar in passing, like let everybody know what you're doing. Okay, tell people that you are posting clothes online. You don't have to say you're taking it very seriously if you're not ready to, like, you know, do that. But if you let people know, it is amazing how much people are willing to help. I started out just as cleaning up my closet and then realized that I really loved it and I wanted to keep doing it. And people just donated huge bags of clothes to me. So my first like 3 to 4 months was zero investment because people were just bringing me shit that I could sell for free, you know? And I really did not expect that. Like, I still to this day don't totally understand, like, why you have all these clothes you want to get rid of. Why didn't you take them to the thrift store? Why did you want to give them to me to sell? But whatever, like, don't question it. Just let people give if they want to give, and they might, you know, let people know what you're doing and they might want to help you out. I've also had people donate shipping materials. I have, you know, there's people who spend a lot of money shopping online and they have shipping materials weekly, daily coming into their house and they just throw them out. So they like some people like the idea of giving them to somebody who's going to use them. And again, that can save you so much money not having to buy packing materials. So let people know what you're doing. They also might donate organizational things like tables, shelves, and believe me, after a while, if you are doing this and you're building up packing materials and you're building up things like measuring tape, like, you're gonna need some organizational stuff. So again, people might be willing to donate those sort of things. At the end of the day, just have fun, believe in yourself, be patient, and let the people in your community help you, you know? So yeah, I hope this was helpful. You can check out my Depop at depop.com/Aphrodite_attire. And I definitely plan on doing more videos, like things I wish I knew when I got started. I want to do a video that's Depop versus Poshmark versus Vinted. I want to do a video about how to source your items and how to price them and how to figure out what's trending. These are all things I've seen people ask a million times on like the Facebook forums. And so these are definitely things I want to help answer. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. One love.